Welcome back to yet another YouTube video. It is your girl Lynn Way, and there's absolutely no way without going through the way, and we believe that Jesus Christ is the way. As you can tell by the title of today's video, wait, let me fix my camera quickly. Of today's video, we are going to talk about conference. Your conference was amazing. Conference was everything I expected and more. Conference was just beyond me, and I think I'm just gonna take you guys on a journey of getting to conference, because I was serving in two teams in conference. I was in the CL coffee shop team as well as first aid team. Thank God there was no injuries, because I do have a level 1 medical, I almost said medical aid. See, I do have level 1 first aid qualification because it's the requirement of my degree. But yeah, as you can tell, my voice is still a little bit whatever, but I'm gonna take you guys through just various times getting to conference, and just all that I was able to capture, or all that I was able to get from other people. So my mom also came to conference, and it was just a very beautiful time. It's like God orchestrated the whole thing. I did obviously not get enough time to spend with her because I was super busy in the other areas. I did not see her much. We only saw each other, I think, when I went to sleep, and I would wake up early in the morning the next day because I am serving and all of that, and I would not take anything outside of that. But besides the fact of how grateful and how wonderful and gracious God was, just seeing God move, and just seeing how excited and happy she was post first session of conference, it was just amazing. Conference was, when I say everything I expected and more, that's exactly what I mean. And through this videos that I'm gonna just be inserting as I go along, and just showing you guys how conference was, the build up to conference and after conference, just everything all together.
How was your experience at conference?
Oh, this is my first time to be here, all the way from Joburg. I jetted in today just to come and see what's happening today. But hey, this was the great day of my life. Something just moved. The movement of God was just awesome. The movement of the Holy Spirit was just awesome. I enjoyed myself so much. Hey, we're gonna be seeing me more often.
What did you encounter during worship?
Yes, I did so much. I did so much encounterment with the gospel, with the Holy Spirit. There was so much that happened in my life. So many things that were happening. I could feel the presence of God in the house.
Churches on fire. We need churches that will celebrate the heavens agenda. It's a new season, I'm living in. Everything's changed because you're with me.
Oh, my conference experience was great. I even lost my voice because of screaming.
Keep on believing, keep on standing on the word, keep on trusting God, and say, God, I believe he who called me is faithful to finish what he had started.
I felt the presence of God during the praise and worship like I've never felt it before.
Absolutely amazing. It was a great experience.
The world should be different because you're here. You're part of a plan, a solution, an invention, a prayer. There is something in you that we need and that the world needs. Taking your kingdom to our generation. This is a move of God.
every single person in this room, whether you believe it or not, or feel it or not, you belong. And you belong to this family. God has chosen you. He's adopted you. He's brought you into his family. And family is powerful.
Okay, so now I'm just going to tell you guys about my conference experience, the various encounters I had in conference, at conference, and how God was really just moving, showing up, showing off. Like, entering into conference, I did a 2-day fast. So the first day I fasted by myself, and then the second day I fasted with a friend, and we were just like fasting, because by the time I let other people in my church know that it's like my first conference at Planetshakers, and I don't know, obviously, like, because everyone is like always has like these, they like all have these stories about how like a lot of people in the church actually started coming to the church because of conference. So it's kind of like conference is a very, very big deal. So I was like, God, I just personally, or like what I was recommended, actually, not even like I was really recommended, it was to expect something from God. That was the arching theme of every single person, and how excited they were that I'm gonna get to experience this. And I was also super excited, and I remember just telling God and just praying like throughout that week. I obviously had a list of things that I like was believing for, but I told God that even if these don't happen, as long as it's in accordance to your will and your presence is there, I surrender my desires in your hand. And that's exactly what I did. I surrendered my desires to the Lord, and I told God, like, this is what I'm expecting, or this is what I really want to see you do. And God was just like, you know what? I see what you have. You think you want that. I'm going to give you what you need. From first session, all about soul winning, all about eternity, all about getting us over the line, and just the privilege it was to be serving, because when you are serving at conference, you are able to even attend like both sessions if the other session has space. So I was able to attend 2 different conference session ones, and like just basically I attended every single session besides the one session. I think there was one session I was just so exhausted I couldn't go into that session, but it wasn't for my conference, so I signed up for conference 1, but I did attend like sessions in conference 2. And let me just close there. And just like the theme, because like the first session was all about eternity, all about soul winning, all about going into the world and really making disciples, and just really like hinging on one of my greatest, like, because the Great Commission that like the true nature of the gospel, of why we need to be preaching the gospel, is to reach out to the world, to make more disciples, get them baptized in God's name. They must receive the Holy Spirit, speaking tongues, all of those things are just an overarching reality of the fact that the life that we are in is not the destination, it's the journey. And just like that, preaching was so powerful. Like, it was so powerful, because even when I think about it now, it's just so powerful. And then just when I thought that was the power, obviously the praise, like the opening praise and worship was fire. Like, seeing Pastor Sam, seeing Pastor Andy, seeing Josh Hunt, like just seeing even people in our worship team praising and worshiping with the Australian team was just such a wonderful time. It was just so great, to a point where I'm just like, God, wow. And I was obviously wearing like the highlighter jacket for the first aid kit stuff, and I was just like, I am still gonna go praise in the front. I'm still gonna go into that praise pit, because I really want to encounter God. And trust me, God moved immediately. He didn't even wait for me to to know what like is into it. Nah, I went straight in. I lost my voice first night. My voice has been gone since then, and it's been just this has been my voice. Like, I was gonna take this video when my voice got better, but my voice is not getting better, so I was just like, I'll take the video regardless of what my voice is. And oh guys, oh Jesus is so beautiful. And then after the eternity session, entered session 2, praise and worship. Your girl, of course, was in the praise pit as usual. I was just so happy. I saw my mom as well. I was just so, like, I was full of so much gratitude. Like, my praise came from gratitude. And I remember coming out of conference 1 without a voice, and I was just saying to people that the devil is trying to steal my praise and I'm not gonna let him. And I know that possibly, like, in terms of because you really genuinely was trying to steal my praise, because now that I don't have a voice, I might not enjoy as I would have preferred. But your girl said there ain't nothing holding me back, and this body will be subject to the spirit, and the spirit wants to praise, you know. And then I did that, of course, and then it was the greater, closer, stronger sermon that Pastor Russell preached, and how we can do greater when we're together, and greater things in quantity can we do, and just it's just so beautiful. And then just like moving further to the second day, starting our morning with Pastor Sam, just going straight into family and what family is and why family is important. Well, actually, that session in the morning for conference 1, the session was Pastor Russell, and he spoke about dreams and like being a dreamer for Jesus and dreaming greater and doing greater. And you know, God was just like activating every single insecurity, every single limitation. In the first conference session was just like I literally felt the bounds literally leave me, because like there's just so many things that God has given to me. Like I'm like it's just so many, like it's too much, to a point where even I get overwhelmed. Like, a lot of people wonder why I do so many things. I also don't know why. I don't know, but all I can tell you that all of it stems from obedience. It stems from understanding that in the parable of the talents, I am the one that was given the most, because it's just too many. So it's still up to me to eventually use them. And there are some that I've been hiding, some that I've been just locking down because of people's opinions, because I didn't feel like I didn't want to overshadow people. I think that is also my other biggest fear, to overshadow people. And like just having too much requires so much responsibility, and I don't think I was ready to take accountability and to be responsible for the talents and gifts that God has placed in my life. But that day it was all activated, it was all let out, because lately my creative juices have been flowing like they've never been in my life. And like there's just so much I'm thinking about, and all now is about execution, because God is like, a lot of it has been in the making. It's time for you to step out and really stretch and increase your capacity. I'll get to that. And then after Pastor Sam comes and she gives us this powerful message about that's us, our family, how when you're born into a Christian family, you're crafted into, like when you're born again, you get crafted into this bigger family. And the way God does family is very different from the way we know how to do family. And she was just talking about the distinction and why it's important. Like, she was just giving us all that was a very powerful sermon. It was a very powerful sermon. Like, actually, all the sermons were so powerful, but like that one did something in my spirit. It did something in my heart. Like, I just love everyone. I just want to love on every single person, because the enemy has churches fighting against each other, has different denominations fighting against each other in the Christian community, because that form of confusion deters people from church. Like, a lot of people have asked me, like, why are there so many churches? Like, I have I've had those questions from non-believers coming to me, and I was just like, obviously I try my very best to show that God is still present regardless of which denomination people are. And just the fact that the Holy Spirit is present, it means it's God, and that person is my brother and that person is my sister. I visited a friend's church, and they are very different in terms of how they do their praise, how they do their worship, how they do their word, from the way that my church does their worship and praise, and like all of that. And I was just like, I feel like my deepest joy was the fact that I could still feel Holy Spirit. And it wasn't like, oh, where is Holy Spirit? Because obviously there is churches you step into and you can't feel Holy Spirit. That's when you rely on your discernment, you rely on your biblical knowledge. That's why it's important to have a personal, intimate relationship with God. I'm diverting. So back to the conference, and in the morning she dealt with limitations, and then later when she was doing the session 3 for conference 1, she was like, y'all are sitting here and are hurt. Y'all are hurt, and please stand up. Your girl does not stand up. I took my time. I did not stand up for like the longest time, because I was so convinced that I'm actually healing. That, I mean, my mom is here. Like, I know I haven't spoken to my dad in a while, but like, you know, everything seems okay to me. And then and then I just kept on sitting down, right? And then like I felt something. Like the more I sat down, God was just like, you need to stand up, because she like opened up the altar call for such a long time, and the minute I stood up, that was when she closed it. And I'm just like, oh my word, like, you know how God is so sensitive, he is so precious. It's like he is just, oh, he pays attention to detail. Like, if he wants to get to you and if you allow him, because I prayed into conference and I said, God, move as you will. So anytime I heard any urge or nudge in my spirit, or like just like any feeling where I was just like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, I ran for each. I feel like I ran for every altar call. Like I ran to the front, like literally ran, even though there was obviously contemplating in my heart, but I still did it. And it's because I came prepared to do that. And I got there, and she does this hurting thingy, and then next thing she moves to daddy issues. She prays for the ones that are emotionally hurt, emotionally going through it, and then she goes on to speak about the people that are angry. And I'm like, too much. Like, it was just too much. And then Pastor Haven closes the entire conference with greater things ahead, and yo shuck it, duck it, quack quack, was the favorite would say. It was fire. It was like, oh my word, like I can go back to conference right now. Like I feel like right now as I tell the story, like it's happening in my head, like it's really just replaying like all I'm thinking about. Oh guys, and then the minute like Pastor Fabian's sermon goes, or like it's done, because like it was so powerful. And then we did like praise and worship, like just to exit and stuff like that. And when we're doing praise and worship, like it was the last one for the conference, the young adults and teenagers didn't want to go home. Like they literally started singing. I think it was like from Love Church and some people from our church, and then they started singing like, oh no man, it's for you, you know. They started singing that, and then they started singing that, and like it was just, I'll just insert that clip right here. And it's just like every now and again I think of that moment, because I looked at them, I'm like, I'm going to join, because even me, I don't want this to end. And then it was just so beautiful. Like conference was just so amazing. It's crazy, and I couldn't get a lot of pictures. I got a hug from Pastor Sam, one of the greatest days of my life, because I love that woman. I was just so happy that I saw her. And like when I spoke to her, she was just like, oh my God, you also don't have a voice. I'm like, yes, we don't have a voice. And every phone was off around us. That still breaks my heart, the fact that I couldn't get a picture. But it's okay. It's definitely fine. I mean, she is my senior pastor, so it was mind-blowing. It was amazing. It left me speechless, because literally because I couldn't speak at the end of it. It left me speechless. See what I did there? But I was really in awe of how God moved, and just the conversations I was having with my mom, the conversations I was having with my aunt. Even when I got home, like, you could really see that the Holy Spirit has moved. And when I moved into my week, everything, you can just see, like, there's just been a shift. There's this joy that surpasses understanding, this peace, like, all of it is just like the fruit of the Spirit is just like, and it's amazing. And then Sunday came, Pastor Russell was preaching, our senior pastor, and he was like, it's expansion time. And I'm like, sir, this is the right time for that word. It is expansion time. It's time to go big or go home. And I've just, guys, watch this face. Like, this year is just about to be wow. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'm gonna see you in my next YouTube video. I know this just ended very randomly, but it has to end because I can't tell a story for that long. So bye.